Alright, what's up guys? I'm going to do a quick patch rundown on 7.17. I decided to do this video first, and then my next video is going to be about the pro meta changes that might happen on 16 to 17, though there isn't really much because 7.17 is kind of a small patch in terms of changes. So, let's get started. First off, Orin's going to be released. I think I'll do a separate video on Orin because there's a lot to be said about this guy. The item changes and the buffs that he can give are pretty weird. They sound a lot more broken than they actually are. They're not like that OP, but his bristle mechanic and his ult seem like pretty strong. Alright, Draven nerf. I'm banning this guy a lot in fucking solo queue. He's really annoying to play against if there's a really good Draven player, and he benefits a lot from Ardent meta. Draven Janna is really like disgusting lane in solo queue, especially if a majority of the time you're getting autofilled bot laners. They're not going to know how to deal with Draven, so generally I'm actually pretty okay with this nerf. Just going to make him less snowbally. They're reducing the amount of the gold that you're going to get on kills, and you lose a lot more adoration stacks, so this is just generally a nerf to his snowballing potential. Ezreal buff, he did get some buffs in the last patch to his Q cooldown. I don't think this is going to make him back in the meta, but the thing is, like, Ezreal's a really safe pick. He deals with tanks like okay. His itemization is pretty decent against tanks. You go Blade, you go Last Whisper. The percentage health Last Whisper is also super good against tanks, so a small 80 ratio buff's not going to push him over the edge, but this might make him, like, pretty good. He has good matchups into stuff like Jhin. You can play Ezreal into Sivir if Lucian becomes good. I'm actually pretty sure that Ezreal does super good into Xayah as well. Because it's really hard for Xayah to do much to him, so should keep an eye on Ezreal, especially in Korea. I know a lot of Korean AD carries love Ezreal. It's a really popular pick over there. Could be good. Hecarim change. E no longer ticks down during R's charge. I'm not really sure what that means, but the duration no longer ticks down during all slash charges. Oh, actually, okay, never mind, I got it. So, you basically don't lose duration if you charge during your E, so you can keep running fast while ulting. So that's pretty neat. I know a lot of Hecarim mains, they avoided pressing R during the E because of that, but now you can do that. Onslaught of Shadows now will fear at 1.5 seconds at max range, which is pretty good. If you're looking for max range ults on the Hecarim, you're going to get a buff from this, but if you were doing, like, melee range ultimates, it's just going to be reduced by 0.25. Overall, this is a decent buff to Hecarim. His clear is still decent. He's okay in the jungle meta right now because you're playing him into tanks, so you're not going to get punished so hard. You clear probably faster than stuff like Gragas and Sejuani. Alright, Leona. Your mark duration on your passive is reduced by 2 seconds. That's going to make trading with her in lane a little bit harder. Because now you can't, like, delay the trades. You have to kind of go all in with her. But they're increasing the damage of the passive, so especially early on, it's increased by 5. And then it scales up harder to 144 instead of 10 to 5. So yeah, I would say this is a buff, because generally with Leona, you're not, like, using the 3.5 second duration anyway. So you're actually getting a pretty decent buff out of this. I actually like this change. Leona is decent into a lot of the range supports right now. Oh, sorry about that. Leona is pretty good into, like, the range supports right now that aren't Janna. Morgana is a doable matchup. And as well now, your shield daybreak cooldown is 6 seconds. At all ranks, which is good because you want to max W anyway. So, unless you're like level 18 and you have everything maxed, this is just a buff across the board. And most supports you're not even going to get there. Keep an eye on Leona. These are pretty decent changes, and they're good. Especially if Ezreal comes back into meta. Leona Ezreal lanes are always really strong. Stat Magic no longer works from Malka Tech's Award. That is just like kind of a mad change. It was whatever. Alright, let's take a look at Urgot. Purge now refreshes the duration of the locked-on debuff. Okay, that seems like a bug fix. I didn't really notice that when I was playing Urgot, which is interesting. If Urgot casts Disdain during Purge, or heals to toss a champion, Purge will now resume firing for the remainder of the duration a bit earlier than before. Okay, it's just like another bug fix slash life quality of life change. Not really big deal. Slow duration is now 4 seconds. Okay, now you have 4 seconds to reactivate, a full second extra. If you didn't know that if you ult before they get to a certain HP, you can actually activate the ult when they hit the certain HP, so you can, like, ult them at 50%, then get them down to the threshold where they can get executed, and then execute them with it, which is pretty cool. I don't think this is going to make Urgot any stronger. I don't think he's that strong, but we'll have to see when he becomes enabled in pro play. Zed, base attack speed goes up. I mean, all this is going to do is going to make last hitting a lot easier for him, which is good because he's a melee in mid lane. Living Shadow duration is now 5 seconds, so there's probably a chance if you get enough CDR early, like I think 10%, you can hit 2 Qs with 1 W now because it's 5 seconds. Depending on the Q cooldown. Actually, let's take a look at that. League of Legends Wiki Zed. Alright, let's take a look at his Q cooldown. Alright, let's see. Q cooldown is 6 seconds. So for it to go down to less than 5, you need about 10% is about 0.6. So you need 20%. 20% CDR and pull you down at 4.8 CDR. 4.8 CDR. So you need 20%. You can hit 2 Qs now. That's actually really good for Zed. You can hit 2 Qs in one shadow. Obviously, it's not going to affect his laning too much. But this is a decent change for when you start hitting CDR, and when you go like Duskblade and Cleaver and even your runes, you're probably going to hit 20% pretty easily. Hell yeah, Ardent Sensor nerf. Okay, so they made it less effective at level 1. They made it more effective at level 1 when you buy it, which is pretty bad, I think, because I mean, no one's getting level 1, but I think the problem with Ardent Sensor is the fact that people just rush it. Like, some supports could get this as early as level 5, or even 6 if their lane goes well. And by then, like, it's actually a buff. When you just get Ardent, it is actually a buff. Like, 10% attack speed less is decent, but the fact that you're getting, like, this much anyway when you just rush the item, so it's like, I actually don't think this is much of a nerf. I think Ardent's still stupid as fuck, and people are still going to abuse it. Yeah, I don't like Riot when they do these changes because it's like you're never getting these items at level 1. They did the exact same thing with Duskblade. I don't remember which patch. I think it was 7.15 where they nerfed its level 1 damage, and it was like the item anyway breaks even at the exact same time that you normally buy it anyway. So I don't really understand this nerf. I don't like it. I think Ardent's still going to be annoying as fuck, and especially if you rush it and you go for like stupid gold per 10 coin build that I see all those Jonas doing now. All right, let's take a look at this Stone Plate. Okay, so this is just going to be a bug fix for any tank junglers that go for it because they changed the way that Stoneplate interacts with Cinderhulk. So it was a bug, it was never intended, so they fixed that now. Stoneplate's still going to be a great item if you're like an engaged tank. It synergizes like ridiculously well with Courage of the Colossus because you get so much extra HP and then your shield gets disgustingly big. I think it's still a fine like third item. For junglers, Righteous Glory, Knight's Vow, Locket, all super good first items, and I don't think this is going to change its effectiveness on tanks. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. I think this is a good change. It'll make like Jungle Cho a lot less annoying as well, specifically just because of that. Preferred item slots. Okay, that's really nice. Items to be assigned. That's just like more UI interface that could be good. Let's see, honor, rotating game modes, upcoming events. Right, that's pretty much it. New game mode, invasion. That's interesting. We'll take a look at that. Bug fixes. I don't think anything crazy here. Right. I mean, that should be it. I mean, this is a pretty small patch in terms of changes. They didn't really nerf anything. They just kind of like slowly buffed some stuff, so this is like a real cop-out of a patch because there's nothing on it. So there's not really much to analyze. The only big thing, I think the big thing, if there was anything, is the Leona changes and the Ezreal changes. And this isn't even a big change, it's just a small change. But Ezreal actually just fits the meta because he can't get pressured by tanks. And his build is anyway just like good against tanks. The only problem is that you're slow and you're not hyper carry. Like you're slow but not a hyper carry, which is weird. Because you have to go tier. And you're still not going to output as much damage as like a crit hyper carry in the late game, then what's the point? So maybe there's going to be some new builds, maybe more 80 heavy builds without much mana. That'll be good in Ezreal. I'll have to take a look and see in solo queue, but definitely keep an eye on Leona. And maybe Hecarim. I mean, these changes aren't good, but Hecarim was already like decent before, so it could be big. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I know this is a quick video. If I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. I want to do this as much as possible. And it's kind of good that I start off with a pretty small video because then you guys can tell me where I'm fucking up. Next video is going to be about, again, meta snapshot, see what's strong on 7.16 and how that's going to change for 7.17. But as you can see, like, there isn't much. Oh, yeah, the Z changes. Yeah, Z changes could be big. Z changes could be really big, especially after the nerfs to so many mid laners. This could be a nice change to make Zed strong again. Alright, guys. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.